are now plugged into Hooked on Science with Bruce and Tony Kong.
And we're live.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to a Megasode episode of Hooked on Sonics. I am one of your hosts, Bruce, and over there, being as fine as could be, the Tone Capone. And man, what a packed show for you guys today. Once again, we want to thank our last week's guest, Wes Beech of the Plasmatics. At the end, he gave us an album to review. That was Silverhead 16 and Savaged. And then we also got each of our own album reviews as we continue celebrating women in music history. We've got Angtoria's God Has a Plan for Us All and Four Non-Blondes, Bigger, Better, Faster, More. Lots to get into this week. So I'm sure we're going to have some drinks to wash all this down, wash all this information down. And yeah, let's see what's going on. But before we get into all that crazy stuff, Tone, how are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am wonderful as always. A little more wonderful than usual, aside from still coming out of tailspins of all the busyness and stuff going on, weather breaking and people getting excited. I got literally was at my daughter's um, baby shower this weekend, and I can't count how many people were like, "When are we going to get together?" And I'm trying to tell them, "Hey, we're going to get together," and it's just here we go, boom, 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 here we go.
Yep.
Everybody wants barbecue for sure. Wants to hang out with the big tone in the garage of ecstasy. But
Is that what you
no,
make your barbecue out of?
ecstasy, yeah,
Uh-huh.
baby. No,
Keeps them coming.
you know as well as I do because you've been here and experienced it. The garage is sanctuary. We've got killer tunes sitting up in there. Just a real comfortable environment. Musical instruments are set up, and we're ready to rock and roll and jam. On a whim. So it's a very fun place to be. I do a lot of my cooking. I do a lot of listening to music and stuff out there, especially over the summer.
Mhm.
And sometimes when I listen to music, my neighbors do too.
Yeah.
Uh, so, well, other than that, man, I am good. How are you doing? I
Good,
understand you've been
man.
on a long stretch. We caught a little sniff of each other this weekend for a second and then parted ways.
That's right.
Yeah.
Definitely was able to hit up a couple record stores. We can get into that a little bit later. Some cool finds. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I did go to the
Mhm.
KMFDM show in Cleveland at the Agora this weekend. First time,
Nice.
first time being in the Agora. I have you ever been to a place and seen a show and you're like, man, I don't know if I really like that place. I don't know if it's worth going to see the band in that place. Have you ever been in that situation?
Bogarts in
And
Cincinnati.
in Cincy? Yeah. I mean, I
It's kind
guess
of a clusterfuck.
I mean, I could see that, dude, but like when I think about where I like to go see shows in Cleveland, the Grog Shop's like my absolute favorite. I've seen great bands. I've seen that place packed. There's just a scene right there for what they're bringing in, and I really like it there. However, the Agora is an old theater and it's been around for a long, long time. And if you can remember, the Newport here used to be called the Agora. So they
Yep.
may have been affiliated at one time. I can't confirm or deny. So, with that being said, you get into this venue and you walk through the front doors. You got to go through metal detectors. Okay, cool. Been through that before. No big deal. Once you get through the metal detectors, you enter a foyer area where there is a long bar and there's a nice selection of things on the back wall. But once again, it's concert pricing and it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But once you get past the metal detectors, before you walk through those main doors into the foyer area where the bar area is, or the outside of the venue bar area is, there's a small stairwell that you go down into. Have you been to the Agora?
No.
Okay, so there's a small stairwell that you go down into, and that's where it looks like they set up most of the merch shit.
Mhm.
And there's actually a coat check and stuff. The venue is absolutely beautiful. The venue is absolutely wonderful. But my qualm was this. I don't know how I feel about the setup because as you walk through the doorway to get into where the concert area is happening, you got a bar on the back wall here, a bar on the back wall there, and that's great. But you have levels. And if you're at the back of this level that you come enter on, you can't see everything going on the stage because there is a balcony area. And that balcony area has two kind of raised off side balcony areas as well. But as you go down some steps, maybe ramp or something, there's another level. And in that level, it looks like there's some box seating. And then you go down a little bit further, and then there's a pit area, I want to say. I've been to a lot of shows. I've been to a lot of indoor shows and outdoor shows. And let me tell you, from the outdoor foyer area where the big bar is out there and crossing the threshold into the concert area was a 30-degree difference.
Mm.
It was brutal. It
Mm.
was comfortable out here. It was damn near hell in there. And I couldn't stay. I couldn't breathe. I was having a hard time breathing in this venue because I felt so hot. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to drink because I'm driving me and my brother back home, and the tornadoes were rolling through the state at that time. I want to give it up to our people out in all affected in Ohio by the tornadoes that hit. I believe there was 6 or 8 confirmed. I have friends who lost power. Still waiting to hear if anybody else we know that was impacted by certain things. Um, but definitely want to give it up to those that we lost, and our prayers and condolences with those families during that crazy event. And it come
Mhm.
up all the way across Cleveland too, man. There was a lot of craziness going on. So
Mhm.
me and my brother were in the venue when all this stuff was going on, and I'm getting texts from Kate the whole time. So it's kind of hard to stay focused on the show. But I will say this. I really liked how KMFDM handled their business. Their website does offer bigger sizing for bigger people, which is really fucking cool. And I would have expected them to have it at the show. They didn't. They didn't get their merch drop before the show, according to the merch guy. Understandable, cool. However, did see a megaphone that was signed by all 4 members of the band. Had I had the appropriate credit card on me and money and authorization at the time, I may have just snagged that fucker up because
In that order.
I am dude. I am a big KMFDM fan. I cannot, for me, I can't find a bad album by those dudes. They're just one of those, and it's a niche genre of music, the electronica and stuff and whatnot. Aaron kind of referred to them as a little bit of dubstep, like early. This is industrial. It's
Mhm.
just something that I really enjoy. At some point in time, I'd love to give you a KMFDM album, and I'm going to.
You already
Um,
did.
what did I give you?
I don't.
The one with Murder My Heart on it.
I think so.
Yeah, hell yeah. I gave you hell yeah.
Yeah,
I think you gave it a decent rating, didn't you?
I did.
The ultra You got to learn what the ultra beat was about. Dude, and don't think my ass wasn't down there in the pit the whole time. Like, so if you've got me on Facebook, and I've been meaning to put some of the concert footage that I get and pictures that I get over on our Hooked on Sonics page. I really need to do that. Bruce needs to stay on top of his shit too.
Yeah.
We need to share these things with you. But if you get the chance, go catch it. I got a good an actual great video of them doing Freak Flag, and I got the intro to the show where they go into KMFDM sucks, and the whole crowd chants KMFDM sucks, and they all come out, and was fucking amazing, dude. My brother was 110% right when he dragged my ass out and made me say, let's make it fucking happen.
There you go.
I will never forget that show.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. And if you get to see him on this leg of the tour, man, let us know. I'd love to hear what your experience was with it. But Bruce,
Yeah.
we have been listening and doing a lot of things, man.
Yeah,
What have
man.
you been listening to this week?
Well, in my travails up to Columbus, shout out to Lost Weekend Records and Used Kids Records up there in Columbus, and also our friends over there at Lost and Found Records. Picked up some really cool stuff for this past week. Also, shout out to Wes. Picked up some items. He was kind enough to send us some autographed items and some pics and stuff. So thank you, Wes, for all that. Picked up this Plasmatics Vice Squad recordings. These are some of the early EPs that were released on vinyl. And this is on transparent red vinyl. Very nice.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful. And then picked up another 80s Alice Cooper classic.
One of my top 5.
Constrictor.
Possibly my top 3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty solid. I picked this up over at Lost and Found. Now I've had a copy of this for a long time, but not with the original hype sticker. And it was good to see. Hold on. Fat fingers. The original booklet that came with it, The Evolution of Kiss.
Now, is that a reprint or is that all
No,
OG?
this is OG.
What'd you drop on that, playa?
I did good.
All right.
I did good. So, just it doesn't have the merch thing in it or anything like that, but still a really cool booklet, and it's in great shape. So
notice how he didn't mention how much he dropped on it on the air in case the wife watches.
Always watching Wazowski. Let's see. Then over at Used Kids, I picked up a classic Waylon Jennings album that, again, this isn't a great album, but I'm a completist. I love, he's got a lot of albums.
You're like me. If I like a band, I usually try to get their whole catalog.
And then this is an original pressing of Creatures of the Night from 1982.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and still it's got its original sleeve and everything. Now, if you see over there, I've got the half remastered half speed remaster album of that. But it's good to see one of these in the original. So
didn't the original the eyes glow in the dark or something?
No, this version does.
Okay.
The remaster does. Next up, a couple AC/DCs that I found over at Lost Weekend. Great finds. Flick of the Switch. It wasn't a great album, but it's got some good stuff on there. And then one of my favorite AC/DC albums from the 80s, Fly on the Wall. The only thing I don't like about this, the production on this is typical mid 80s, real hollow sounding fucking vocals. Drives me nuts. And then pick this up with the album that we're reviewing tonight.
Where'd you laying that at?
This was at Lost and Found Records.
Just sitting here.
Yep. I asked them if they had it, and they said yeah. So picked up the original copy of this bad boy. And last but certainly not least, the envy of all the kids in the neighborhood, the Return of the Living Dead soundtrack.
Man. Jee-minies. I didn't even know they re-released it on vinyl.
With, not just any vinyl. Come on. What are we, savages here?
Come on. Hook it up.
Look at that.
Oh, my God.
Blood splatter. Yep. Look at that. Fantastic.
That is fucking amazing. And I'm so jealous. That is dude, you already know how I feel about that album.
Yes.
You know, that's like when I think about my favorite soundtrack albums, that definitely falls in the top of all of them. You know, what's another great fucking soundtrack? That Constrictor album is pretty much the soundtrack for fucking
Jason
Final Fantasy VI. or no, not Final Fantasy, but
Jason. Yeah, Friday the 13th.
Friday 13th Part 6.
Yep.
Jason Lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
I've been staying busy.
Shocker.
Oh, what a great album.
That would be one I'd like to see you pick up on vinyl.
If I can find it.
You
I know it was on
that,
CD, but
dude,
I don't know if it's
that is,
ever released on vinyl.
That is hands down probably my number one. It's a hard toss up between that and that Return of the Living Dead.
Mm.
Because it depends on the mood that I'm in.
Yeah.
Dangerous Toys has a song on there called Demon Bell. That's one of the most amazing fucking songs ever. I love the vocal work on that album and guitar work on that song, dude.
There were 2 Paul Stanley songs on that album.
Yep.
Sword and Stone.
Yep.
And I don't remember the other one off the top of my head.
I'd have to look it up.
Yep.
But yeah, Paul Stanley had a hand in that album. Like there was a lot of rockers on that album. Megadeth's version of No More Mr. Nice Guy was on.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, dude, that's me being dead honest, and I still love that movie to this day. It's a horrible movie. Horrible movie.
Yeah.
But it's such a fun film, and the soundtrack is awesome.
Yeah. What have you been listening to, my friend?
KMFDM for sure. Lots.
Yep.
Lots, just because we wouldn't seen him. Checked out KMFDM singer Lucia Ferrelli. My brother sent me over a single of hers called Medusa. She's getting ready to release a new solo album. It sounded great. I loved it. I mean, I did, but I love those dudes. I don't think they can write bad music, man. To me, it's just groovy. It just gets, sometimes it's just that shit that gets you going. It's really cool. What else did I listen to lately? There was somebody that I definitely wanted to mention to you. Obviously High on Fire because of the new soundtrack, and we know that they're getting ready to go on tour. Who else was I jamming this week? I don't think I listened to any Heaven Temple this week. I may have been listening to some Sleep this week. I think I was listening to some Sleep this week. I turned on my Sleep collection and just let it spin. But other than that, not much. I haven't had a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
Obviously listen to the albums that you gave me and that Wes gave us. And I'm really looking forward to reviewing these two, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
For sure.
Hey, so before we get into any of that, do you want to go through some of the comments from last week's episode?
I sure can, man. We did get a few. This episode's getting a little hits. I understand Wes put it over there on X, and it seems to have taken a little bit of some traffic over there, which is nice. I'd love to see you guys come out and comment on the YouTube page. We love to hear that stuff, and we love to reply to you. I don't see anything on X as of yet, but you're more than welcome to follow us up on X. Obviously, Bruce has gotten us a account set up over there. Until I get the information, I really can't do much with it. Bruce.
I don't know what happened.
So we did get a comment. It looks like we got one from Wes. Great talking with Bruce and Tony. Hope you have as much fun listening to the podcast as I had doing it. And yeah, it was a blast, man. It was fantastic. I commented on that, left a comment there. You're free to check that out. At Tom Dust. Fantastic interview. Wes has so many cool stories, and I'm sure many more that are unrepeatable. A book from him would be awesome. Rest in peace, Wendy, an absolute rock and roll goddess. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. And we thank you for tuning in there, Tom. The Kiss Army General Garage. At the Kiss Army General Garage, they stated, "This was so enlightening. I remember watching the Plasmatics walk 2 blocks from First Avenue, Uncle Sam's or the Depot back then, and their stage clothes and guitars during one of the worst blizzards Minneapolis had ever seen. Wendy barely had a stitch of clothes on, circa 1980. Thanks for the music, Wesley. Thanks to you all. Rest in peace, Wendy Williams. I had a bit of a crush on her. Peace." And peace to you, man. Thank you for dropping in and saying something for us. We appreciate any comments. If you have any suggestions on albums, feel free to say something. And I want to put something else out there, and Bruce wasn't aware that I'm going to say this. So I apologize for putting him out there on the line and like this, like I'm getting ready to do. But if for any reason you are a contracted musician, a legend, if you want to discuss the possibility of a new album you're releasing, new material you're working on, we extend the invite. We have an open invite here for artists. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to share a show with you or a big release with you.
Mhm.
If for any reason I could ever get in front of Matt Pike at this show in Cleveland, you could trust as fans, as our fans, if I get in front of Matt Pike in front of High on Fire, I will ask him if he'll come on and do the show.
There you go.
I will.
Mhm.
And trust me, I'm doing what I can. Bruce just so happened to be the man on West for us, and really want to appreciate the connections that helped us with that. We had a great time with that, and we'd
Yep.
like to do that a lot more. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for taking the time to watch it. We see that you guys are out there creating a nice little buzz about it. We got a subscriber base went up, so it looks like we're now officially up to about 55 subscribers, which is, not bad. We're going to keep on rolling, but I think
Mhm.
our subscribers like to sit in and watch shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
very looking forward to having you guys on board. If you can't catch us here, you can always come back and catch us here, or you can catch us over on any of your streaming services, your podcast streaming services. We're all available over there too.
Yep.
So as a matter of fact, we just had to upgrade Podomatic to make that all happen, didn't we?
That's right. Shout out to Podomatic.
Yeah, and sorry for the delay on getting the West Beach episode up there. It's been a bit hectic. We've had to get some things cleared, and finally, I had the time to get it uploaded. It's there for your listening and enjoyment pleasure. So
There you go.
sorry for the inconvenience. But
Killing
yeah,
me.
what a great episode, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe how fun that was.
Mm-hmm.
I expected it to be fun, but God, man, what a wonderful story to tell.
Yeah, for sure. Wes has got stories for days, and couldn't have been a nicer person. You can't wait to have him on the show again at some point for some other special event or anything else he's got going on for sure.
Oh, we'll definitely be following him for a while.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
All right. Well, what are you drinking over there?
Oh, this right here is water.
Oh, well, that
You drinking?
sucks. Well, let me
No,
tell you
I'm just kidding. What?
what.
Tone do a show and not have a drink with his buddy? That'll be the fucking day, won't it?
That's right.
Even if it is non-alcoholic, he'd have it, right? So listen, this is 5% alcohol by volume. I don't drink this kind of stuff often because of the sugar content. Can't really, I don't know exactly what the sugar content is on this, and I'm terrified to find out, being a diabetic. So with that being said, everybody knows that I've always been a huge fan of Arizona green tea. And we've reviewed, I believe, at one point in time, an Arizona green tea version, but
Mhm.
this is the peach version. My wife was nice enough to pick me up a couple of these and the other ones. She knows I will drink at least one once in a blue moon. I don't drink this shit all the time because the obviously the obvious factors. A little intimidated, over the lips, through the gums. Watch out, stomach, here it comes. That's dangerous.
Ooh, nice and easy.
That's terribly dangerous. However, I will say this. I don't know that I would ever want to drink it anything more than ice cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Premium spiked beverage.
Hmm.
Real brewed iced tea with peach.
There you go.
Cheers. And my
Salute.
rating on this at 5%. Four and a half.
Okay.
It's because of the bit of the alcohol taste,
Hmm.
kind of throws things off.
Gotcha.
But it's not much. I wouldn't say it's not too far off from like a twisted tea,
Okay.
something along those lines. Something. So if you're familiar with those kind of flavors and stuff, that's pretty much what you're getting. But this is obviously the Arizona brand, and the
Yep.
Arizona tea will always taste good to me. So, what are you drinking, old man?
Well, let me tell you, you actually was able to partake a little bit of this with me over the weekend. I've got some plantation rum, the Isle of Fiji double barrel rum, master blended, and it is from the Fiji Islands. I don't know what the proof is on this, but it's not super strong. Um,
I think it's
and
40.
is it?
I think
And then
I think it's 80 proof, 40% by
okay,
alcohol by volume.
and then I'm drinking it with some Coca-Cola in a nice ACDC glass.
Now, is that some regular Coke or Diet Coke?
Regular Coke.
You're completely off the rails, sir.
Tastes better.
This guy is completely off the reservation, folks.
Woo! Anyway, plantation rum. It's not bad.
To me, there's a water taste to it, dude. There's just a really back of water taste, dude.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all. I give it a 3. It's an average rum. I like the presentation a lot better than the actual rum itself. It's a 3. It's fine.
Well, there you have it.
There you go.
4.5 and a 3.
Yes,
This
sir.
could change. This can change because as I'm belching,
Ugh.
it may not be doing me any good.
Okay.
Any favors.
Each belch goes down a quarter point.
That's why I don't drink his shit.
Yeah.
I do this for you people out there in
That's
YouTube
right.
land.
That's
I
right.
put my ass on the line for all of you. No, man, dude, I got to be honest with you. Between you and me, I'm still on a physical and mental high of that episode with Wes. Man, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just being able to hear about a time that you've only heard about, but not from someone who was directly there.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
There are people that I'd love to be able to pick that kind of time with.
Yeah. Yeah. He was great for sure. Let's see. You got any music news? I got a little bit of stuff.
The only thing that I can say that I saw, and it's because I've been so hectic. I did see that High on Fire set up that I mentioned that earlier, that another leg of the tour.
Yep.
I will be at the Cleveland show.
Cool.
So that's a guarantee. I'll be picking up my Fridays early as shit on Friday.
Good. Good. Also seen that the Dead Daisies are working on a new album and they're getting ready to go on tour.
Nice.
That's fronted by John Corabi. He was part of Union and part of Motley Crue there for a hot minute. So yeah, shout out to those guys.
He was on one of Motley Crue's best albums.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
You're out of your league. You're out of your league, gentlemen.
It is not that good.
Dude, you are out of your mind. It was some of the best things the stuff the crew ever wrote, dude.
It's not.
You know what, dude? You cry about it. Cry about it because you know what they do? They went back to Vince, stayed with the same formula. Dude, come on, dude. Hooligan's Holiday kicks more ass than most shit, dude.
Okay, one song out of 13. The rest of the album's trash.
You're out of your fucking league, dude. What's the song? Look inside the mirror, but I don't know who I see. Smoke another cigarette, my smile holds back the tears. It's such a bitch and come to be the story of my life.
Mm-hmm.
A simple man with memories of those long lost golden days. I close my eyes and slowly drift away. Get out of here, dude. That's a jamming ass tune, dude.
I haven't heard it yet.
Are you serious?
No.
You've never made it through the...
I have not made it through the entire album. That's not a good album.
Guess what? You'll be getting it.
No, great. Good. I'll give you another one. I'll give you Generation Swine, which was it was written by, a lot of it was written by Karabi. Oh, so all you want, but that's a Karabi collaboration too, buddy.
That's not him on there.
No, but Karabi wrote a lot of those songs. That was the follow up. That was supposed to be the follow up.
If he wrote a lot of those songs, then why did they get to keep them?
Because it's Motley Crue.
What happened at the time that Karabi left? Did he leave or did he get kicked?
He got kicked.
So it sounds to me like Motley Crue took the shit that he wrote, said, brought Vince in, and fuck you. That's shitty, dude.
It's Motley Crue. Would you believe they're not exactly the most stand-up guys in the world? Ask Mick Mars.
That's shitty.
Anyway. Hey, you know who's celebrating a birthday today?
Who?
Billy Sheehan.
Happy birthday, Billy.
Happy birthday, Billy.
I've been blessed to see you once, and you were phenomenal. That's
right. He was born in 1953. Rest in peace, Randy Rhoads. He died today in 1982. There is not enough praise that can be heaped upon Randy that's even adequate enough. Such an influential and just virtuoso guitar player that, man, if he would have been able to stick around, the music he would have made.
Could you imagine, knowing his background in music, where he would have went after Ozzy? Because rumor has it he was going to, make his exit from Ozzy.
What if he would have went back to Quiet Riot? Because they didn't leave on bad terms.
No, not that I'm ever aware of.
Can you imagine Randy Rhoads back in Quiet Riot? The whole trajectory of Quiet Riot could have been completely different.
I've never really thought of it like that. I've never really thought that he would go backwards. And that's just who I think he is, because he was always just better.
Well, think about it. But think about it. Randy died in 82. Metal Health came out in 83. So he would have been going up, or at least staying level.
Well, you also got to remember that in 83, 82, 83 is what I always point that at. Once Come On Feel the Noise hit the fucking MTV, it was all she wrote.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If, say, Randy parted ways with Ozzy and he went back to them, or started as, who knows? The other thing is, what if he didn't leave Ozzy? There had been no Jake E. Lee. There probably wouldn't have been a Zakk Wylde. At least not in the Ozzy hemisphere.
How well did, I guess that tends to ask the question, how well did they get along? Ozzy and Randy.
Well, he got along pretty good with Sharon.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they had an affair. Randy and Sharon were banging each other. Oh, yes, sir.
Really?
Uh-huh.
How do you know this?
She had said something about it.
No way, dude.
Look it up. Hand to God.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's my phone?
While you're doing that, I'm going to tell you some albums that got released this day.
Go for it.
Bob Dylan's debut album. Phenomenal album. Just the self-titled debut in 1962. Jethro Tull's Aqualung was released in 1971. And released in 1975. This masterpiece right here, Kiss's Dressed to Kill.
Classic.
Mm-hmm. So many better songs on this than Rock and Roll All Night. But that's for an episode of a different day. And that, my friend, is the news.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to know this.
Do you think I'd actually lie to you?
I do not think that you would, dude, but I don't want to make false statements.
Oh yeah, she knew. Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, anyway, we got a lot of dead space here, so
I'm sorry about that.
all right.
It's the first thing that popped up on Blabbermouth, dude.
Yeah.
And that was said December 7th of 2003.
Mhm.
Wow. Sorry. Well, all right, brother.
Come on.
Congratulations.
That's right. Hey, so let's start off with Wes's album that he gave us. Silverhead's 16 and Savaged.
Okay.
Right there. Tony,
Nice.
you want to go ahead and start with your
I don't mind. No, I don't
Yeah.
mind at all. All
Yeah.
right. So we had Silverhead 16 and Savage.
Mhm.
This is a very hard album to find a lot on, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
These guys had a very short to do. But before I go into my album review on this, I want to thank Wes for the album. Um, stand by because I've got some things I want to say about the album first before I get into the album review. So let's go with that. First thing I want to say is I love the guitar on this album. There's great players, uh, obviously in the mix. Um, things that came to mind, and you're going to hear me say this a lot: sleazy, very sleazy. When you think about the time that I think this album may have been recorded, um, I think it was 73.
Correct.
And
It came out May 28th, 1973.
and if you listen to this album, you're going to hear elements from other bands that you are familiar with. And it tends to ask the question, like the New York Dolls, was this one of those bands that had such a major influence on bands in the area at the time? And that's why we have some of these sounds that we have from some of these other bands that seem very similar to what was going on here. So let me go ahead and get into the review, and I'll talk about that as we go further.
Mhm.
First album for first track, Hello New York. Um, I gave this a B.
Hmm.
It's sleazy. The horns on it were pretty cool. It's good, but I just didn't find it to be a great opener. Um, for me, and I didn't give it a horrible rating. I gave it a B. It's a good song. It's just to me, I think there could have been a better opener. But to be very honest, I don't know that I found a better opener. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
if that makes any sense. Um, with that, moving forward, number two, more than your mouth can hold.
Yeah.
Dude, I gave this an A. It's a solid track. This is where I'm like, okay, all right. I'm feeling the sleaze. I'm feeling the. It's a solid track. Okay. Um, only you. I gave this an A plus. This is a standout track for me. Soulful,
Mhm.
great guitar work on this track. Absolutely love this track. That's why I gave it an A plus. We move into number four, Bright Light. Man, once again, I gave this an A. I didn't give it an A plus because it didn't have that for a standout to me. It is a great track, but there's a great groove here. If you listen to it, you're going to hear it. You're going to fall into it. It's a solid track.
Mhm.
Um, Heavy Hammer. I gave this an A. This is where I want to reference something. There's some ooh action in this song, and I know you listen to it.
Mhm.
This very much reminded me of some of the stuff that Kiss would do in songs early on. Okay, like think about Hotter Than Hell.
Yep.
There was certain things that sounded kind of similar to that,
Mhm.
and I even said there, there's there's oohs like a Kiss song. Okay, um, Cartoon Princess, Killer Solo, Jammin' Drums, Aerosmith vibe I got off this
Mm.
song. Really big Aerosmith vibe I got off this song. And this is probably before Aerosmith's time. You know what I'm saying? Or Aerosmith would have just been breaking the scene shortly thereafter.
Yeah, it was around that time.
Right. So with that being said, Cartoon Princess, I gave that an A plus, man. That's another standout track to me. I
Mhm.
absolutely love that track. Killer solo on that track. Drums are killer on that track. Absolutely love that track. Track 6 is amazing. Rock Out Claudette was the 7th track. Um, Once again, here's something strange about this one. When I talked earlier about how songs sounded like what I would expect the New York Dolls to have laid into the DNA of other groups later of their time. Rock Out Claudette Rock Out had a very Kiss vibe, great guitar solo, but in some of the vocal stuff there was a Quiet Riot vibe.
Okay.
And I'm just like, wow, man, is this where these guys are picking all this up? Like, why haven't I've heard of a lot of different things, but this is cool. This is very, very cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I end up giving that track an A. We move on to the 8th track. This ain't a parody. Once again, sleazy, groovy, dirty. Love this track. An A as well. We get into the final track, 16 and Savage. A. Still sleazy, groovy. And I found this to be a good closer. Better than Hello New York was an opener. And
Mm.
what's sad is like I gave every track on this album an A, but Hello New York.
Hmm.
Like Hello New York just didn't get me really pumped, man. And I really I like the song, but I'm going to be honest with you. Looking at this whole album, I wouldn't skip. I wouldn't skip a single track on this album.
No.
Not even the beginning of the album. So
Yep.
I do want to say this is a very, very good album. And being that I gave every track but one out of 9 an A or an A plus, I've got to give this thing a solid 9.5. A solid 9.5. This is a good, sleazy beginning of glam rock staple right here.
Yep.
This is wonderful. So easily a 9.5. I could go as high as a 9.75, but man, that opener hurt for me. It just
That's
hurt for
funny.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, let me go ahead and write that down because I write it down on all of them.
There you go.
9.5 on Silverhead, 16 and Savage from Tone. Thanks again, Wes. Great album.
Absolutely. Real quick, I'll go through mine. This was the second studio album by these guys. This is pretty much the last studio album that they did. They came out with a couple other live things, but nothing was, to me, was as good as this album right here. Their lead singer Michael DeBar went on to be an actor in a lot of things, including some Seinfeld episodes. So check him out. Um, he is definitely he's definitely a really interesting character.
Who was he in Seinfeld?
I forget his.
Don't tell me he was Bannon, dude.
No. It was like a one time, like
Okay.
a one episode shot. So anyway, I'm gonna disagree with you on Hello New York. I loved Hello New York. This whole album was like if the Rolling Stones and Humble Pie had a baby.
I can see that.
So this fits perfectly within that. See, this album came out in '73. Exile on Main Street came out in '72, and Humble Pie's Smoking album came out in '73 or '74. This fits perfectly right in there. And I love both of those albums. This is an absolute. I kept going back to this album over and over and over again. Um, let's see. To that point, the second song, "More Than Your Mouth Can Hold," sound a lot like the riff for "Worried About You" by the Stones. Sometimes I wonder why. Yeah, and just if you listen to "Worried About You," be like, oh yeah, I can hear where that's coming from. Again, I'm not going to go through every single song on here. All of them got A's for me. This is almost a perfect album for me. 9.75 for me. Really. There's nothing skippable on this. I fucking love this album.
This is a phenomenal album.
Love it.
So
Love
why
this
don't,
is a
so
good time rock and roll party album.
Are you too good to give us your full review?
No, I mean, it's just rinse and repeat. Great riff, great solos, great groove, great vocals. Michael DeBar's vocals, again,
Amazing.
he sounds a lot like the dude from Humble Pie and very Rod Stewart-esque in that Faces era. I love his vocals.
Dude, I think it's so funny how much we picked up in different bands off of this band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And God bless. Phenomenal album. I'm gonna have to own that at some point in time.
Oh yeah. Totally on this. And apparently they came out with an expanded edition that had some live tracks on it. Definitely recommend seeking that out, because it's just a great album. Great.
Yeah, I was reading some things, and somebody had stated if you ever got to see them live, they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks again, Wes. Man, what a phenomenal album. I think Bruce and I are definitely in the same ballpark on this one.
Yeah,
as far
for sure.
as quality of this album being a 9.5 to 9.75.
Oh, and he's right. Wes was like, hey, when you see the cover, I was completely enthralled with this. Yeah, nice looking girl there on the cover.
Oh yeah.
If you like that kind of thing.
Dude, I expected to hear female vocal on the album. Like she was going to be the singer or something like that.
Yeah.
But man, let me tell you, dude, I was pleasantly surprised all the way around. And I just remember sitting here just like finding myself going, just chunking on the riff and stuff, and it's like, not that I can play the riffs. I don't know exactly what they are, but I'm just sitting here air guitaring on the riffs. I'm like, yeah, it's really good stuff, man. And I really do appreciate that album. Wonderful album, Wes. Thanks again. And Bruce.
Yeah. You want me to go up?
I'll go ahead and go up, man.
Okay, cool.
Non-blondes. I have no problem with this. I will go next. So Bruce, before we had the West Beech episode, which came up, we had mentioned that we would go ahead and give our full review on the albums that we had the week before. So here we are with 4 non-blondes: Bigger, Better, Faster, More. And this was a phenomenal album for its time frame. I think personally, I want to say this offhand, I think the album has aged well. I think the album's aged very well. I think there are killer musicians and vocals, and very impactful songs on this album. This is what I gathered directly from this album. These are things that had stuck out. Track 1, Train, A+. I gave this a standout track. It's a hell of an opener. A hell of an opener to this album.
Why this wasn't released as a single, I have no fucking clue.
And and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going over this earlier and I'm going, what else could have been released as a single on this? And we're going to get to that. Superfly. I gave this an A. Once again, a groovy, funky track, man. I like this. This is like, I'm already like, okay, I'm in it, man. Good vocals, got some good guitar work, good stuff going on here. I'm in it. Track 3. This would be the classic hit. What's Up? If you're not familiar with it, you've heard it in a bar at some point in time, I promise you. With that being said, A+, it's a classic. And I do understand why it was the single, because it was that song. It was something for that time, something for that era. And it still to this day has meaning, and to this day is aged very well. Linda Perry, I think, is the lead singer there. And let me tell you something, man. She is something else, dude. Like I can't even begin to tell you. It's almost like you got this cross of Alanis Morissette and what's her name? She's another LGBTQ big star in music. I don't want to say like Katie Lang or something like that. What is her name? You know who I'm talking about. Come to my.
Oh yeah, Melissa Etheridge.
Melissa Etheridge. She's this chick's got some blend of voice where she can kind of hit some Melissa Etheridge stuff and some Alanis Morissette style stuff, and she's got her own voice too. But man, she's absolutely amazing. So what's up? Obviously, classic, pleasantly blue. I gave this an A. I got a 50s, 60s kind of groove, all this like a rockabilly groove, and
I love the bluesy.
yeah,
Very
and
bluesy.
they're going to repeat this in another song. So we get down to morphine and chocolate. This is an A plus. Now I can understand why this wouldn't have been made a single. This is a standout track for me. This is probably my favorite track on the album.
Really?
It is, man. It's just a good song, dude. Like it's a man. Mm, it's just a great song, dude. I loved it, and I'll tell you, I'll get back to this all in a minute, but I absolutely love that song. Spaceman, I gave this a B, and this is probably one of the only off ratings that I give, and I only give a few here. Um, Spaceman was a B, good song. This was a single. I don't see why it was a single, personally. It's just a good song. It's not a
Yeah.
great song. It's just a good song. Old Mr. Heifer, they would repeat that 50s, 60s rockabilly sound in this song. This is an A. You know I love that sound. I absolutely adore that sound. I can always get into that groove, you know. I love rockabilly, always have, always will. Calling All the People. Once again, a good song, great riff, absolutely great riff, but I gave it a B, man. It just wasn't really knocking it out of the park for me. Dear Mr. President, I gave this an A plus. This is a standout track,
That should have been a single.
and that's exactly what I wrote down. Single worthy.
Yep.
Okay. Love the guitar on this. There is a huge, huge miss opportunity that they didn't release this as a single.
Yep.
Unless they later did, great, fine, whatever. This right here, followed by What's Up, should have been the way it went.
Yep.
Why they put Spaceman out as a single and not that is far beyond me, dude. That is the most amazing track on this album, in my personal opinion. That and Morphine and Chocolate. I love both of those tracks. Drifting, once again, dig the song. I heard some violin in here. I thought that was really cool.
Yep.
But once again, it's a B. It's just good. Track 11, No Place Like Home. This is the worst rating that I can give on the album. It is a C. It's a weak closer. I didn't care for some of the vocals on this track, which was very strange because I love it when people do things vocally different. This seemed to me, I don't know that this felt as real as everything else that was on the track, or I had just gotten used to what those singing across the rest of the album was.
Yep.
But it just didn't sit well with me. And it's not that I think that it's an absolute shitter of a song. I didn't give it like an F or anything like that. It's just it was weak after kind of rocking off and on a little bit through this album and having a really good time with it. I really wish they would have, you know, I would have taken Old Mr. Heifer as a closer.
You know what? I would actually put Calling All the People as a closer.
I could see that. I could see that. But see, I gave that a B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And either one of those could work. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. So with that being said, man, I gave, you know, we got 11 tracks on this album. Of those 11 tracks, everything but, give me 1 second here. 4 got an A. Everything but 4 got an A. I'm gonna give this album a 7.5. It's a good album. It's a good album, but there are definitely some skippable tracks on here for me.
Interesting.
It's not a horrible album by any means. I want you to understand that. There are just some skippable tracks on here. And I can understand why this album was as big as it was. It is a good album. And I gave it a good review.
Yeah.
I didn't give it a great review. Okay.
Yep. For me, this is one of my quintessential 90s albums. This is a must-have for me. I play this whole thing very, very frequently. This is one of my favorite albums from the 90s, period, dot, end of discussion. This gets a 9.5 for me all day long. I will agree with you. No Place Like Home is probably the weakest track on here. But I love the groove on pretty much everything else. I would say No Place Like Home, and then Spaceman's kind of, I like Spaceman. It's just not, it's not as good as the rest of it. So, but yeah, fucking Dear Mr. President, Calling All the People, Train should, all those should have been fucking singles. And why? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, I absolutely love this album.
Okay.
I'm glad I got to put out there a 9.5 easy.
Okay.
9.5 easy.
So we're a bit off on that.
Yeah.
We're a bit off on that. And listen, that's what it's all about. You know, if we rated everything the same, why would you watch the show?
For
Sorry,
our faces, duh.
If you see me kind of browsing at my phone here, man, I'm a little bit behind on getting you an album for tonight. So I'm looking up a female artist I can give you that I absolutely love an album from. So
that's awesome.
I think I've got it picked.
That's awesome.
Go ahead.
All right.
Let's hear your review.
All right. So you gave me Angtoria's God Has a Plan for Us All. You know what's interesting about all three of these albums, or all three of these artists, none of them really stuck around very long.
Yeah.
I think this is their debut album, and I don't think they came out with another album after this.
I don't think they did.
And
I can't give you any more information. If I ever got a chance to sit down with Sarah, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Four Non Blondes, that's the only album that they put out. Yeah. And then, you know, the other guys, 2 albums, 2 studio albums.
Yeah.
So, you know, great music in such a short period of time for all 3 of these guys.
Nice.
This is some operatic metal. So, you know, you got to be in the mood for that. And that's kind of one of my slight dings on it. I don't know what the proper setting to listen to this to is. So, you know, as most of you know, I listen to a lot of my music while I'm driving. This isn't driving music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. It's good. Like, I guess if you're sitting, I don't know, to me, this whole album felt like a soundtrack to like The Witcher or some other fantasy video game. Okay. And that's not a knock. I mean, it's just like, okay, this is an epic operatic metal album. Right. You know, it deals with a lot of, you know, heavy subjects like suicide and abuse of all kinds of, you know, sorts. But I mean, just all through here, the musically, it's like you're going through chase scenes, or you know, I'll get to it. So, okay. First song is The Awakening. It's a great thematic opener. Again, like if you're like the opening credits are rolling over this song. And then let's get into the I'm Calling. Fuck it. All throughout this album, the musicianship and all that is just top notch. Top notch. It's like Trans-Siberian Orchestra on fucking speed. I mean, it's just a different level of stuff. So I gave The Awakening and The Calling both A's. Next is God Has a Plan for All of Us. It's some great some chanting gang vocals to start it. Or you know what? I'm like, okay, that's cool. And again, it's just this epic fucking thing. It's like, okay, where else am I going to listen to this at? You know, it's just really interesting. Next, Suicide on My Mind. I gave this an A plus. This should have been single worthy. I don't know if any actual singles were released off this. But this should have been one if it wasn't. Just a beautiful song. Just a great song. Lyrics are pretty heavy. I encourage anyone to kind of take a look at those. Next, the Deity of Disgust. Again, A plus. That should have been a single. The male vocals on this sound like it was Dio, and I swear all week I was like, "That's fucking Dio on there. That's pretty cool." They were able to get him. It wasn't fucking Dio. It was one of their bandmates. God, it's so good. What a great song. Deity Disgust is a fucking great song. Great metal in your face song. The Addiction. Again, an A plus on this. I don't think it's a single, but man, it's fucking good. It's really good. 6 Feet Under is not deep enough. Gave it another A. Again, musicianship all throughout this. Spoiler alert, every fucking song on here got an A. I mean, there was nothing wrong with this album. Nothing wrong with this album.
Dude, I'd not tell you that
Yep.
I was giving you something that unlike anything you've heard before.
Yep.
And unlike anything I've ever given you.
Yep. Let's see. Original Sin. The music sounds like it's a chase scene or a voyage on a ship. Like they're just floating down the fucking sea. And this song comes on. Hell Hath No Fury, Like a Woman Scorned.
What a
Great.
title.
Yeah. Confide in Me. Beautiful strings and piano to start this thing off. Beautiful piece. Then That's What the Wise Lady Said. And then finally, A Child That Walks in the Path. All in all, what's her name? Sarah?
Sarah Jezebel Diva.
Yep. Her voice is beautiful. Musicianship is stellar throughout. I the only ding I can give it is I don't know if I could casually listen to this. I mean, it's just one of those things like, okay, perfect example for me. I love the Sweeney Todd soundtrack. It's very operatic, and obviously it's, it is what it is. I'm not going to listen to that anytime if it pops up in any of my like shuffles, I'll listen to it. I love the shit out of that entire soundtrack. But am I going to seek it out and it's like, hey, I'm driving to Columbus. Let me put on, this or Sweeney. No, I'm not. It's great music though.
Yeah.
It's great music. All in all, I'm gonna give this thing a 9.5. I can't ding it. There's nothing wrong with this album other than I don't know where it fits. I just don't know where it fits.
In a daily listen.
Yeah, in a daily listen, I don't know where it fits.
No, and I can understand and respect that. It's a very niche thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like sitting down and personally listening to like a Cradle of Filth album. If you're a Cradle of Filth fan and you enjoy Cradle of Filth, you kind of know what to get from that extreme black metal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? This is the second week in a row. I did not put the Hooked on Sonics logo back there.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch, man. I just noticed that. I'm a little disappointed in myself today.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. No, dude, and I can't disagree with you, man. A phenomenal album, man.
Yeah.
Before we get into anything else, just real quick, I want to thank you for dropping off the Wendy O. Williams pick there and the cover there from Wes. I'd also like to mention at the merch booth, I did land the KMFDM new album Let Go signed by all members. I didn't get to see them sign it, a bit of a bummer, but to have something owned by them for as long as I've been listening to them and have that signed means a little something to me. There's probably more sentimental value to me than anything else. And it was a hell of a memory with my brother and his friend Wayne.
Yeah,
Shout
that's
out to
awesome.
both those dudes, man. We had a good time.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, man, those are the reviews. What a great week in reviews, man. I think
Mm-hmm.
we had some killer albums, man. Like for as big of a run as we've been on and wore out and
Mhm.
drained, you and I, man, we really caught some really good albums. And thanks again, Wes, for the, once
Yeah.
again for the wonderful, wonderful album there. Bruce, thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for the wonderful album you hooked me up with Four Non Blondes. Um, Not a horrible album by any means. It's just not something I don't think I'm going to fit into my rotation constantly. I'll
Yeah.
probably, if I do eventually own it, I'll probably find myself listening to about 3 or 4 tracks off of it. But other than that, I mean, I'm not super bent on having it. So,
Yeah.
but but a good album nonetheless. Absolutely good album nonetheless. Um,
Cool.
Other than that, you ready to start talking about what's going down next week,
Next
Sonic?
week, absolutely. And I had this album already in my queue as one of the top five I was going to give you as we continue to celebrate women in music history this month. And you just solidified it for me. This album another one of my favorite 90s albums, and I actually had a almost an unhealthy obsession with this lady right here. I fell in love with her just because of this album. And you, my friend, are getting Melissa Etheridge's Yes I Am album.
Oh man,
Fucking
that,
love
do you know how
this
many times
album.
I've listened to this album over the years?
The whole album?
Maybe. I mean,
I love this
I've had
album.
some girlfriends that really liked the album.
Mm.
Melissa Etheridge, and this, what's the name of the album?
Yes I Am.
Yes, I
I think
am.
it's her best. I think it's her best album. Period. Not.
I am, from my understanding, if she's still doing music, and even after
Mm-hmm.
she had done that, she's still doing a wonderful job, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So, Melissa Etheridge, yes, I am. Wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
funny that you would give me that because I think you're going to find it funny what I'm giving you.
Sweet.
1988,
Ooh.
Lita Ford. Lita.
Nice.
Nice. It's very nice.
Very nice. You know what? And hand to God, I have never listened to this whole album in its entirety.
I was a big fan of the album. I remember.
Obviously, I know "Kiss Me Deadly," um, and then "Close My Eyes Forever," but yeah, all the rest of it I've never heard. So I'm really excited about this.
A runaway at that, you know what I mean? She's
Oh
just a
yeah.
runaway. So with that being said, dude, I think you're gonna have a pretty good album on your hands. What I remember, one of my fondest memories of this album is I remember staying up late living at my dad's over off of Murray Hill,
Mm-hmm.
and I would stay up late to watch roller derby, the roller games. Remember that shit?
Oh yeah,
Remember
on
that
Channel
shit?
4. That was on
Yeah,
Channel 4.
yeah, dude. I used to stay up late to watch it.
Rock and roller derby. Yeah.
Yep, and she performed one night. I stayed up late one night just to catch her perform a few songs that night, dude. And I've always been a Lita Ford fan. I love her, and I've loved her work in the Runaways. And I think that I think you're gonna have fun with this album. I think you're gonna have some good memories. So
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. That's awesome.
yeah. All right, guys. If you like what you see here, please remember to like, comment, subscribe down below. Also, if you are listening to us from other podcasts, we are on all your other podcast streaming services. Thank you so much for tuning in. All of now 55 of you viewers, we do appreciate every one of you. Please hit those comments. Bruce, you got anything for us before we take off?
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and now X.
I wish I could.
Yeah, you can. Just get it on there. It's fine. Come on in. The water's fine. And I'm going to leave you with these final words. Deity of disgust, I was destined to take plague to my grave, dug by my self-pity, captured by the thrill of my prey.
Was that off the Angtoria album?
That was
Nice. What song?
Deity of Disgust.
Deity of Disgust. Killer.
Yes, sir.
Tune.
Mm-hmm.
That album's killer, man. Thanks again for watching, guys. We are Hooked on Sonics. We will see you next time. Bruce, I'm out. You out?
I'm out.
Peace.